In the first video, we saw that one of the sharing economy platforms is Airbnb. And so we're going to look at that more closely in this video. So as we saw, bed and breakfast means a type of small hotel or tourist accommodation. And Airbnb lets people list a house, apartment, or room for a short time. It also lists travel experiences, so things like tours, cooking classes, surfing classes, and so on. So we can have a look at the website. Okay, so here we are on the Airbnb website, and you search in the box here and have things like you can rent a house, a whole house, you can rent a cottage or a cabin, this kind of thing. Some unusual places. In a kind of a wagon. I actually stayed in a wagon once, and there were too many mosquitoes. And things like cooking classes, right? Making various kinds of experiences. Okay. So it has a bunch of different things that you know, if you have a place that you want to rent or a skill, like you can show people around, you can be a tour guide, or you can teach people how to cook. You can offer these kinds of things on Airbnb. Okay. So it grew quite quickly. From 2008, it was just in the US, and then quickly, within a couple of years, it grew to become like international. So by 2011, it was already quite big. And by 2012, it was a big international company. And now it's worth billions of dollars. Okay, so we're going to have a look at a video with Aaron, who is an Airbnb host, and he talks about his experiences hosting his apartment, like renting his apartment on Airbnb.
A lot of my guests have been first-time Airbnb users, so they may have been nervous about, coming and sharing a room with a person they've never met before. But very quickly, after a cup of tea, a quick conversation, they feel, right at home. In a down economy, when you're trying to save money, you're kind of forced to go a little bit out of your comfort zone to continue to travel. So I think people are becoming more and more comfortable with sharing their car, sharing their space, even, sharing the things they own. You can rent out power tools on websites now.
So Adam, you quit your job last year and you put your apartment on Airbnb.
I had a good friend working at Airbnb who told me about the site and said, while you're traveling, you should rent out your place so that it pays for itself while you're gone. So I rented out the entire place for a few weeks while I was down in Central America. It worked so well that while I was back in town, between trips, I just rented out one room and stayed in the second room. So had international visitors staying with me, and it worked out really, really well. I've been kind of doing those two things since then.
And so you've basically been able to support yourself doing that.
Yeah, that's right. My original intent was to take a few months off of work from technology sales, which quickly turned into 5, 6, 7 months off. So I wasn't forced to, leave my place or give up a great apartment here in San Francisco.
So tell us about your place.
I would say number one, I've got a great central location. I'm right in the center of the city. It's a quaint little neighborhood located next to Golden Gate Park. People like the natural light, the theme of plants and clean, simple furniture and a comfortable bed. Based on their feedback, I've kind of improved my place, and it's made home a little bit more homey. I always think of it as a little bit of micro-entrepreneurship. You're getting feedback from your customer, who is your guest, and trying to improve your product, which is my apartment.
Do you think this service can work for people either who are already still working full-time or are not in a city like San Francisco or New York?
Yeah, I think so. The thing that I keep on hearing from all my guests is It's not so much just the cost savings, because it is cheaper to stay with an Airbnb guest than it is to book a hotel. But it's more about the experience. They want to see what the city is really like, what the people are really like, kind of get an insider's perspective. So for that reason alone, I think that this service will really pick up across the rest of the country.
Can you talk about that trust, sort of the trust factor? Because that seems to be a key point for all of these services, right?
Trust is the biggest thing with any of these services. So reviews on Airbnb.
Do you have good reviews?
We've got great reviews.
Of course. Right.
So having that user feedback is really, really important to build trust, as well as having a lot of Facebook and Twitter validations on those services, so you can see, well, they're a real person. I feel pretty confident in those networks, so much so that I trust that they can actually rent a room for me.
When you're in town, you also do some driving once in a while here on using Lyft. That's right?
A few of my friends told me about this cool app called Lyft, where you could basically bypass the cabs here in the city and get a quick ride, based on anywhere you are. So using their iPhone app, it was a really nice way to kind of subsidize my cost of living by driving, a day or two a week. Or, for example, drive out to the airport to pick up a friend. I might as well pick up somebody else or give somebody else a ride there while I'm in my car.
And just so people know, that the way the service works is it's a donation.
You hop in my car, you sit in the front seat, we do a little fist pump. That's the Lyft hello,
Right.
And I give you a ride to wherever you want to go.
Has anyone stiffed you?
It's never happened to me, and actually I have never heard of any Lyft driver not getting donated towards.
And then you also have been doing some travel tours for travelers also, right? Through this site Viable.
I was already giving Vespa tours to some of my Airbnb guests, so why not make that a paid service for people that are interested in paying for it. So through Viable, I give 2-hour Vespa tours in San Francisco.
You have a lot of the travel services. Sounds like you know that area pretty well. Do you think that you'll keep doing this even when you have a full-time job later on?
Yeah, kind of like I mentioned, it's bought me time to think about what I want to do when I go back to work. And I don't see any reason why I wouldn't continue doing these services. And it's something that I never thought I could do. And I've really enjoyed the experience. Having international guests in my place is almost like traveling to their country without having to go there.